The alleged killing of Jamal Khashoggi. NBC News has learned that, according to 3 people with knowledge of the situation, get this, Saudi Arabia's government is now discussing a plan to admit that Khashoggi was killed after entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Okay? One of the 3 sources said he was told by those close to the Saudi leadership that the kingdom will claim now that rogue operatives killed Khashoggi during an interrogation or a rendition attempt that went horribly awry. In other words, they were just trying to interview the guy or take him back to Saudi. Anyway, a spokeswoman for the Saudi embassy in Washington did not immediately respond to a request for comment from us. Anyway, we first caught a glimpse of this new strategy when President Trump twisted himself into a pretzel defending the Saudi king. Catch this.
We are going to leave nothing uncovered. With that being said, the king firmly denied any knowledge of it. He didn't really know. Maybe, I don't want to get into his mind, but it sounded to me like maybe these could have been rogue killers. Who knows? We're going to try getting to the bottom of it very soon. But his was a flat denial.
Well, late today, President Trump was asked about the reports of the new Saudi narrative. Let's watch.
I heard that report, but nobody knows if it's an official report. So far, it's just the rumor of a report coming out.
It's not a rumor. Democrat Chris Murphy, the senator from up there, tweeted, been hearing the ridiculous rogue killers theory, was where the Saudis would go with this. Absolutely extraordinary. They were able to enlist the president of the United States as their PR agent to float this. Well, earlier today, Turkish investigators were finally granted access to the consulate in Istanbul to begin their joint investigation of the Saudis. Catch this. After the cleaners were seen entering the consulate. There we go. To clean up whatever mess there was. It's been over a week since Jamal Khashoggi went into that Saudi consulate, never to be seen or heard from again. By the way, his girlfriend, his fiancée, was waiting outside. She left to go in, stood outside waiting for him to come back out. He didn't come out. That's a fact. For more, I'm joined by Nair Hack, former White House senior director and former State Department senior advisor, and Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell from California. I want to start with the congressman because I do that here. But again, I want to go to the expert as well. What do you make of the fact that the president of the United States is bending himself like a pretzel to go along with the latest horrible, ridiculous excuse for killing and dismembering basically an American journalist?
He has no moral compass. He likes people who like him. He likes people who invest in them. And guess what? I just described to you the Saudis. The first place he went as a president overseas. They have, invested in his hotels when they come over here and stay here. And also, they have convinced him to kick out Qatar and support the blockade that they put on Qatar. So this is just a continuum of.
Well, talk political. Why do you think the Crown Prince, who's so sophisticated and so Western loving, seems to get hip approval from the Western press? Why did he think he could get away with this?
Because he sees a permissive operating environment in the world. The United States, for many presidents, Republicans and Democrats, have always been the moral authority in the world. This president has extinguished that beacon with the Russians killing in Great Britain, with Kim Jong-un killing in Southeast Asia. So now it's just open season for leaders to conduct these extrajudicial killings.
That we used to be the standard.
Well, he's made it blatant that he actually loves and adores a man who leads his people by putting them in gulags and repressing them and killing his family members. That's Kim Jong-un. So these are strong signals to send to the rest of the world about what the United States will tolerate and what it won't.
Would you believe the Crown Prince bought that?
I think they were absolutely waiting for an opportunity to get away with murder, and this is it. They
hated this journalist so much. They feared him so much. Yes. They're willing to kill him, dismember him, remove him from that consulate in broad daylight.
Right, and I'm glad you called him a journalist and not what they're saying, which is a dissident. He's a man who is doing his job and enforcing transparency on his government. That's not what the Saudis like. The Saudis have actually even started putting people in prison for what they call rumor mongering this week.
Well, freedom of the press is not the norm in the world. Anyway, this is not the first time the president has given credence to an individual's denial. It's part of a pattern with the press. Let's watch.
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
Mr. President, is an accused child molester better than a Democrat? Is an accused
Well, he
child
denies
molester
it.
better
Look,
than
he
a
denies it. I mean, if you look at what what is really going on, and you look at all the things that have happened over the last 48 hours, he totally denies it. He says it didn't happen.
Do you have a comment on this report?
He says he's innocent, and I think you have to remember that. He said very strongly yesterday that he's innocent.
Guys, remember Morgan Freeman's character in Shawshank? He said none of us did it. You know,
right.
The prisons are filled and maximum security. Why does he believe deniers of guilt?
Well, the Central Park Five didn't do it. Actually, proven that they didn't do it. And all the people that Donald Trump believes tend to be of a certain type, right? They tend to be older white men who run autocratic countries or dictatorships.
Well, they're also dealing with him.
Right, they're dealing with him, and he likes that. Frankly, I think he would enjoy running the United States the way that MBS has been able to run his country.
Sorry, go ahead.
Where he doesn't have to actually take into consideration anybody else's opinion, where he's able to appoint his family members.
Well, let's talk about let's talk about the Romanovs here. The president has appointed his son-in-law, the viceroy for the Middle East. He's going to bring it back. And look, good for him if he can pull it off. But apparently the Saudis are a big part of that. Because the Saudis supposedly going to underwrite a redraw somewhere back to the 67 green line with some trading. And I'm all for something like that. Who wouldn't? But is that why he's afraid to attack the Saudis? Because they're going to be the ones who are going to allow this to support. They're going to support the frontline states when they go along with it.
I think it's all about the money. No, it really is all about the money with Donald Trump. But
what do you mean the buying of our guns?
Well, he can translate what they're doing to jobs, so he can tell the American people, don't screw up this relationship.
Because Raytheon won't like it.
Right.
And Boeing won't like it.
Because we all know the military-industrial complex is really hurting right now. It's not like we're selling coal to the Saudis.